Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel. So through my consultations with people that want to move to Germany to study or to work in Germany, I have found some questions that have come up frequently, and because of these questions I've decided to use these questions as the basis for this video. So what's this video going to be about? This video is about the tips and things you should know before moving to Germany. If you're planning to move to Germany to study, move to Germany for work, or move to Germany to be with your family or with your significant other, your partner or whatever, then these are the things that you should be aware of before you move to Germany. Before we get into the main topic of the video, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I post a new video. And if you would like to follow me on Instagram, it's at Waleo Chronicles. Now let's get into the main topic of this video. So the first and biggest tip I will give you after living in Germany for almost 3 years now is learn German. Don't listen to anyone that tells you that, oh yeah, you can survive with English. You can really survive with English in some certain parts of the country, so in the big cities. If you're also working in a multinational or an international organization, you would likely speak English and survive with English, but your life will be so much easier if you do actually learn the language. Honestly, it's been my experience in the past almost 3 years that I've been living here, that now that I speak a bit of German, it's not like I'm perfect, but at least I understand a lot. I would say I understand like 80%, and my speaking is on B2 level. I've noticed the massive difference it's made in my life. Also, with looking for jobs and settling in, your life just gets easier when you understand the language. And actually, by the time you move here, you have so many things going on. If you're working or if you're studying, that you might not have as much time to commit to learning the language as if you did before moving. And most likely, learning the language in your home country would be cheaper than if you actually came here to actually learn from scratch. So in my personal experience, I learned up to B1 level before moving to Germany, and that did not even make my life easier, to be honest. I still struggled a lot. I talked about that experience and my journey in the video I made about how I started my life from scratch in Germany. And even though I had B1 level, which to some people who don't speak B1 level sounds like, oh, that level is very proficient. No, it's not. It's not even enough. Like, I still struggled a lot to get a job, to just settle in, you know, to feel that feeling of home. So the biggest advice I'll give you is, before you come, learn as much German as you can learn. So this third tip I'm going to give is for people who are moving here without a job already secured. And yeah, for international students kind of as well. Make sure that you have at least 6 months of your living expenses covered, in terms of you have money to cover your living expenses for 6 months, because most likely that's how long it's going to take you before you find a job. Now for international students, this is already covered kind of, because the German government requires you to already before coming to Germany, you need a blocked account of 10,335 euros or something like that, over 10,000 euros. So with this 10,000 euros, your living expenses for a whole year is already covered and it's guaranteed. And honestly, now that I look back from my experience, I'm very, very, very happy that I had this requirement for me, because I'm from outside the EU, right? So I also had to block 10,000 euros plus as well. And this really, I mean, I put myself personally under a lot of pressure to find a job when I moved to Germany initially, and it took me 6 months to find anything paid. It was not even like my dream job, my first job. I also spoke about that in my journey to like in how I started from scratch in Germany. I spoke about this experience in that video. So if you want more details, go and watch that video. But the point is, it took me 6 months to get my first paid activity in Germany. It was not even my dream job. I like really started from the scratch. I couldn't even get a job as a waitress. Go and watch that video. I gave the full details of the journey in that video. But my first job was in a retail store, and it was minimum wage, but it took me 6 months to find that job. And one of the things that did not make me panic too much was because I had over 10K blocked in my blocked accounts. So even though I wasn't getting any money coming in, I had my living expenses for 1 year covered. So if you're coming here as an international student, and you have to block as an international student from outside the EU, you have to block the 10K anyway, the 10,000 euros anyway. And if you're thinking about other ways of jumping this hurdle without really blocking the 10K, maybe you're thinking of like borrowing the money from people to block the 10K so that when you come to Germany, you will pay them the 10K back. Don't do it, because you will suffer. You will suffer. Except, wow, you are super extremely lucky and you come here already with very good German language skills, then maybe you'll find a job quicker. But every single person I know that moved to Germany, it took them a while before they found their first paying job. The next tip I'm going to give you is to decide which city you want to work in or which city you want to study in, and research about that city. They have 16 states, and in each state, some states have more metropolitan cities than others. Like North Rhine-Westphalia, it has many big cities within it. So you need to research which city you're going to go to, how expensive that city is, what the rent is going to cost, what is the atmosphere to foreigners in that city where you want to go to, because the east differs very extremely from the west part of Germany. So you just need to be aware, which city do you want to live in, what are the job opportunities available in that city, how extreme is the German requirement in that city for you to survive if you don't know any German at all. If you're an English language speaker, how accessible is English in that city? If you are in a small city, if you're in a small city or town and you are learning German, then you would learn faster because nobody's going to speak English to you. So you're forced to speak German and you have full immersion. But if you're going to a big city where English is more accessible, then I think your pace of learning German will be slower, because then you have a tendency to gravitate towards people that speak the language that you understand, and then you are not forced as much to speak German. The next tip I will give you is finding accommodation before you arrive. Now, some people are able to find accommodation before they arrive, but a majority of people find it very difficult to find accommodation before they arrive. As a matter of fact, even people that live here already find it difficult to find accommodation. So just to put everything in perspective so that you adjust your expectations accordingly. So don't be too disappointed if you do not find a long-term accommodation before you arrive. So the tip I will give you is to find something short-term and then observe the city, get settled into the city, know the different neighborhoods before you decide to look for something long-term and a bit more semi-permanent or something. To find short-term accommodation, you can find something on, if you're looking for a room in a shared apartment, which I would highly advise you should do, then you would find something on wggesucht.de. I will leave it somewhere on the screen. So you can go to this website and find people that have rooms in the apartments that they want to let out, or people that are coming together to form a Wohngemeinschaft, which is living together like a shared apartment. You can also find that there. Another tip I will give you, this one grates on my nerves so much because even up till today, I'm still not 100% used to it, but is that be prepared to follow rules and bureaucracy even if they do not make sense. People will tell you that this is the way it is. It's like, why fix something that is not broken? I had many times where things happen to me and like under normal circumstances I'm like, yeah, actually, even if this is the way, like this is the way it's always been, does not mean it has to be like that. If we are in 2021 and there is a straight path to reaching the goal we want to reach, why don't we take the straight path? Why do we have to take the bendy path that has been created like 80 years ago when things were different? But they will keep a straight face for you. I'm trying not to be specific here because so many ridiculous things have happened, but they'll tell you that, yeah, this is the rule, this is the way it is, and we have to follow it. So there is no, of course, many rules have make sense, but there are some rules that absolutely make no sense at all. And you can tell that these things have been in existence for 100 years and they just did not want to change it, and everybody's still operating on that 100-year-old system, and you don't want to like come to the new age and take the easier way because it's not part of the rule. So just be prepared to follow rules that don't make sense sometimes. From time to time, you'll come across something and be like, actually, there's a better way to do this, but nobody's going to listen to you because this is how it's done in Germany. That's what they're going to tell you. Another tip I will give you is that once you settling in takes time for some people. It does not take time for some people, so it's relative. It could be 1 month, it could be 2 months, 3 months, some people 1 year, 2 years before they feel really settled in. But whatever time your settling in comes in for you, once you settle in, start to make conscious efforts to make friends. This is going to make your feeling at home and your feeling of being welcome much more easier than when you just isolate yourself. And what do I mean by make friends? So put yourself out there, join as many groups as possible. There are so many expat groups that exist these days. Thank God for the internet. I don't know how people lived before the internet. I sound like a Gen Z now. That's not true, but I still remember in my childhood when there was no internet, so I don't know what I'm talking about. But thank God for the internet. It's made everyone's life so much easier now. So go on the internet, look for groups, look for forums, look for expat groups, make friends, say yes to many activities. I remember when I moved to Germany in the beginning, even things I absolutely hated doing, I did them just to try to meet people and make friends. And I mean, it took a while. Everybody's not going to be your cup of tea. Like, some people will dismiss you immediately. Well, bye. Your loss. That's my attitude. Like, if you're like dismissing me and you're like, oh, I don't want to be your friend, well, bye. Next. There are many people who want to be your friend. So join groups, join clubs. I remember in the beginning I was playing a lot of badminton. Well, a lot, not as much as when I was living in Indonesia, but I joined some badminton groups just to try to meet people. I didn't meet anybody in the badminton group, but at least I tried. So put yourself out there. I'm going to post a video in the future. I already recorded the video, but I just never felt it was the right time to post it, about how to make friends when you move to a new country. I'm going to post that video, and in that video, I don't know at what point I'm going to, if I've posted the video before posting this one, then I will link it in the description box. If not, then you can watch out for that video on how to make friends when you move to a new country. Because let me tell you, I got experience with meeting people and making friends, because every country I've moved to, I literally knew 0 person, and then I had to create my social circle, meet people. So I got some tips and tricks up my sleeve. Anyway, so make friends as soon as possible so that you begin to feel at home as soon as possible. So yeah, with that, I've come to the end of this video on the tips, and like the tips I would give anyone who is planning to move to Germany, either to study or work. And these are the tips I would give myself as of 3 years ago, almost 3 years ago, when I moved to Germany. So yeah, I wish somebody told me all these things so that I can prepare myself, because I've had to learn some of these things the hard way. So thank you very much if you watched this video up till this point. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.